Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now it has happened. Bitcoin just officially wiped out this area of liquidity to the downside in the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, which has been a major target over the last few days, but we've not yet actually confirmed a break below this important area of support in the short term for the price of Bitcoin. So this is something to pay attention to. And of course, in just a moment, I'll still be talking about my exact trading strategy, which is continuing to make money right now in this Bitcoin market, despite the latest drop off, while the price of the Bitcoin dominance here is continuing this bullish relief with another spike towards the upside in the Bitcoin dominance, which is not good news for the altcoin market, as we're now seeing Ethereum officially confirm a break below this important area of support in the short term, and the price of Solana also breaking down in the short term. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. But on this weekly Bitcoin price chart, we still have that massive bearish divergence telling us that at least for the next few weeks, possibly even a period of months, but at least the next few weeks, expect a larger slowdown, a larger cool off, lacking bullish momentum, showing a lot of weakness in the price of Bitcoin, which basically means at best a sideways consolidation, quite possibly a bit more of a pullback within the next few weeks is a very likely scenario. So obviously not a lot has changed over the last one day. That's what I've said every day over the last few weeks since near the beginning of October. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin price chart, the price of Bitcoin just once again perfectly rejected from this line on the chart, which was important support previously and is now acting as new resistance. And that's sitting at just under 111,000. So around 110.8k to 111,000 is what I said in my last video. I said expect a lot of resistance around there, and obviously that's pretty much exactly where the price rejected from. And so currently that is still resistance to pay attention to. And as for support in the short term, as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is now running into this area of support in the immediate short term here on the 6-hour Bitcoin price chart, sitting in between around 106.5k to 107,000. And at least so far, as of recording this video, we've not yet confirmed candle closes below this support, which means we've not yet confirmed a break to the downside, even though, yes, we did see a candle wick towards the downside, at least so far. But if we ultimately break below this support, in that case, we could find a little bit more support based on these candle closes here at around 105.5k, potentially a little bit more support based near these candle wicks at around 104k, give or take. But ultimately, if we start breaking below these lows, below this area of support, so basically if we lose around 105 to 106k, if we lose that level in the price chart and fail to get back above that level, it is quite likely it would retest these lows that we set back in around mid 2025, around June, July 2025. And those lows I'm talking about are pretty much at exactly $100,000 per Bitcoin. And obviously, if that were to play out, we could potentially have a massive head and shoulders pattern on our hands, as we could see right here, if we first continue a pullback down towards 100k, and then would actually need to see a massive bounce from that in order to actually form some sort of right shoulder to complete a possible massive head and shoulders pattern, but something just to watch out for in case that continues to play out. But overall, once again, the immediate support to pay attention to is this area here on the 6-hour time frame that we are still currently testing, at least as of recording this video. And also, if the price of Bitcoin confirms this candle close below this previous low in the candle closes here, in that situation, we have a possible bullish divergence on our hands. As we can see here on the 6-hour Bitcoin price chart, the price is already creating lower lows in the price, but we now need to confirm the lower low in the candle closes. And then after that, would need to confirm the higher low in place in the RSI, because right now we're just possibly forming lower lows in the price and higher lows in the RSI, but not yet actually confirmed. And so if this actually confirms in the coming hours or over the next 1 or 2 days, obviously looking at the last bullish divergence that confirmed and started to play out on the 6-hour Bitcoin price chart, we actually saw a bullish relief for around a week or so, around 1.5 weeks of a bullish relief playing out, for the price of Bitcoin. And now remember, these are only talking about the shorter term. We're only on the 6-hour time frame, so don't expect a massive new all-time high breakout, for example, based on this alone, even if it confirms. Once again, as I've recorded the video, it's not yet even confirmed, it's just possibly forming, but even if it confirms, don't expect a massive all-time high breakout based on this alone, because we have to understand the difference between the different time frames. This is a smaller time frame looking at the shorter term, talking about shorter term moves, which could result in a short-term bullish relief if it confirms. But remember, we have a much larger bearish divergence playing out on the weekly time frame, still likely going to cause a lack in bullish momentum on the larger time frames, which remember can contain some short-term bullish reliefs like what we saw the other week. Obviously, that short-term bullish relief happened during the larger cool-off that we're currently seeing here on the weekly time frame. And so just to be clear, no matter what happens in the short term on the small time frames, it doesn't matter if we break this support or bounce from this support, no matter what happens here on the small time frames, I still expect a larger cool off, lacking bullish momentum, showing a lot of weakness when we're talking about the next multiple weeks, if not months, the slightly larger time frames. And then, of course, if we're talking about the price action in between that cool off, like these short-term bullish and bearish moves, that can be a different picture. So once again, if this ultimately confirms in the coming hours, it's possible that could cause a slight bullish relief, perhaps bouncing from this area of support at roughly 106 to 107K. And if we continue a slight little bounce here, in that situation, of course, expect a lot of resistance around here, sitting in between roughly 111,500 to 112,000, and also a lot of resistance at around 115.5K to 116,000. And of course, one of the major reasons as to why we saw that recent drop off in the price of Bitcoin and a candle wick towards the downside was due to the fact that we were simply grabbing liquidity below the price of Bitcoin. We had a lot of liquidity building below the price over the last few days, sitting at roughly 106,000. And obviously, that's what I've been warning about every day in my last few videos over the last few days. When the price was back up here, I said, watch out, we have a lot of liquidity. Most of the liquidity is building at roughly 106,000, which means it's quite likely that very soon we're going to drop down towards 106,000 to wipe out that liquidity. Obviously, that's exactly what I've been saying and warning about over the last few days, and has now exactly played out. And so the good news is, obviously, now that this has played out, we don't really have a lot of liquidity immediately below the price anymore, at least for now. Obviously, it's possible new liquidity can form in the future, but right now we don't really have a lot of liquidity immediately below the price. And so considering all of this information, what is my trading strategy right now? What am I actually doing to make some easy profits in this Bitcoin market right now? And well, right now I'm still in the trading strategy that I've been sharing every day for over 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks now on the channel. Why? Because it's still making easy profits. If you've been following this trading strategy at all over the last few weeks, right now you should be making easy profits. Remember, this is a trading strategy that makes money no matter what the price does. We don't just need to see bullish price action or just bearish price action. If the price chops around sideways like this, if we see a dump and then some sort of rebound, it doesn't really matter. For as long as we see some sort of rebound eventually in the price, this trading strategy makes money, because this is a fully automated trading strategy. It's a trading bot known as a futures grid bot. It's a grid bot, which basically is a grid of buy and sell orders. As you can see right here over on my Pionex account, there's a bunch of buy orders to the downside for the price of Bitcoin and a bunch of sell orders to the upside. So the moment we see any dump in the price, it automatically buys Bitcoin at cheaper and cheaper prices. And then the moment we see any little bounce or recovery in the price, it automatically sells that Bitcoin that was bought at lower prices. It sells that Bitcoin at the higher prices as we bounce. And because it's a trading bot, it automatically replenishes these orders here. So the moment it hits a buy order, it places a new sell order just above the price if the price is dropping. And then the moment it hits a sell order, it places a new buy order just below the price. So if we see a pump, it continues placing new buy orders following the price up. So the moment we see a little dip, it buys Bitcoin and then sells Bitcoin again if we see another pump, etc. And so by doing that, it's been profiting during all of this price action here, when a bunch of other people out there have been getting wrecked in this market, or potentially just being very bored would right now. For example, if you bought a bit of spot Bitcoin right here and you've been holding that spot Bitcoin in some cold storage, obviously right now it's basically not even moved since where you bought it. And on the other hand, if you're in a very highly leveraged long position or short position, if you're in, let's just say, a 50x or 100x trade during this little move right here, you potentially could have gotten completely wiped out. Or if you longed or shorted at the wrong time, so if you longed right here or shorted right here, potentially you could have got wrecked during these price movements. But if you've been following my trading strategy that I've been sharing every single day since all the way back down here weeks ago now on the channel, almost 3 weeks ago, you've been following my trading strategy, you should be making easy and passive profits in the market right now. And in case you're new to the channel and you want to copy this trading strategy, exactly what I'm currently doing to make easy profits in this Bitcoin and crypto market, of course, not financial advice, no guarantees, but I will leave a link to this page right here in the description and in the pinned comment. In fact, the second link below this video will take you to this page where you can copy my exact trading strategy if you want to with a single click of a button. And you can see on this page, using that second link below the video, you can see the exact profits this trading strategy has been making and the exact time that it's been running, the exact time that I opened the trading bot. As you can see right here, over 17 days now this has been running and extremely profitable the entire time. But because this trading strategy of mine is set up over on my Pinex account, of course you will need a Pinex account in order to actually copy this trading bot if you want to. And also you need to make your Pinex account using one of the links below the video. Unfortunately, if you don't use the links below the video to actually make your account, this copy button simply will not work. So if you're actually using the first link below the video, that first link will take you to this page right here, where you can also take advantage of a bunch of other bonuses just by simply making an account, completing KYC. You get a 50 USDT bonus on your Pinex account. And on top of that, there's also deposit bonuses here. If you deposit just $100, you get a $100 deposit bonus. Or if you deposit $10,000, you get a $1,000 bonus into your Pinex account. Basically free money from the exchange just by simply depositing and making an account using that link below the video. But once again, if you don't use that link, unfortunately, you can't claim any of these bonuses here. And also, if you don't use that link, unfortunately, you'll be unable to copy this trading strategy. But that's just an update on my Bitcoin trading strategy, sharing with you completely for free and fully transparent here on the channel every day since the moment I opened the trade, how to make easy and passive profits in this Bitcoin market right now. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the daily time frame, we can see that right now the Bitcoin dominance is continuing the bullish relief as expected towards the upside, which is of course not good news for the altcoin market. This is something that I've been saying every day for over a month now on the channel. Check any one of my videos over the last 1 month and you can see me talking about how the Bitcoin dominance is likely going to continue a bullish relief moving forward, which is obviously not good for altcoins. It means Bitcoin's gaining market share, which means the altcoins are losing market share. In other words, altcoins on average, of course, there can be some outliers, but a lot of altcoins on average will be at least slightly underperforming Bitcoin, so doing a bit worse than whatever Bitcoin is doing, which means if Bitcoin is having a drop like what we just saw, a lot of altcoins will drop even further than whatever Bitcoin is doing if this Bitcoin dominance remains bullish, which will likely be the case, as I've been saying every day for over a month since all the way back down here. But it is worth pointing out that right now, finally, the Bitcoin dominance has made it all the way back up towards this area of resistance, which is sitting in between 60.5% to 61%, which means it's possible that right now the Bitcoin dominance could finally start to struggle a little bit in this area, considering this is a strong area of resistance to pay attention to. And so even though this bullish divergence is technically still active in the immediate short term, talking about the coming hours or days, it's possible we could finally see a little bit of a relief in the altcoin market if the Bitcoin dominance starts to struggle a little bit around this resistance. So definitely keep an eye on this resistance, but obviously if the Bitcoin dominance breaks out above the resistance, for example, if we confirm a daily candle close in the Bitcoin dominance above 61% and hold above that area, in that situation, that'll be very bullish for the Bitcoin dominance, which once again is not good news for altcoins if we break out above this resistance. So definitely keep an eye on this area in the coming days for the Bitcoin dominance. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, we can see that right now the price of ETH is technically still within the larger bearish trend on the daily time frame, forming lower highs and lower lows, which is technically bearish price structure. But for now, we're also possibly forming a new bullish divergence in the price of ETH, as we can see possible lower lows forming, which still need to be confirmed in terms of the candle closes, and possible higher lows also currently forming, still needing to be confirmed here in the daily Ethereum RSI. And so this is just a signal to watch out for in the coming days in case it continues forming and actually confirms in the coming days. But if the price continues this bearish trend further towards the downside for the price of ETH, the next significant support to watch out for to the downside is this area sitting in between around 3350 to 3450, so roughly 3.4k and slightly either side of 3.4k as the next strong or significant area of support to pay attention to. And we definitely need to focus on that area now that we've broken below this area over the last one day, which was a lot of short-term support for the price over the last few weeks or so, and that was sitting in between around 3720 to 3760. So as we can see, we saw many bounces from that area, but we've now finally broken below the area with the candle close confirming to the downside, which at least in the short term is obviously not good news. That is bearish price structure breaking below a key area of support. And so if we potentially see a little bit of a bounce here alongside a possible bounce in Bitcoin, if that bullish divergence confirms, of course that could help Ethereum in the immediate short term, but this previous support will likely now become new resistance. So keep that in mind, sitting in between 3720 to 3760, likely now acting as new resistance. And if the price can actually break out back above that area, of course, we'll need to hold above that area again. And in that situation, expect more resistance at just above 3.9k, around 3910 to 3920. But overall, continue to expect a lot of weakness in terms of the momentum. Don't really expect a lot of bullish momentum right now for Ethereum. But remember, we can see the occasional short-term bounce while we're playing out the larger bearish trend here on the daily time frame, especially if Bitcoin does the same in the short term. Really, when it comes to short-term price action, pay attention to what Bitcoin is doing to figure out what is likely going to happen for a lot of these altcoins. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the 2-day time frame, we can see that right now Solana has continued the perfect rejection from this area of resistance, sitting in between around 190 to 200, and we've now retested this level of support, which was sitting at roughly around 170, slightly below 170 if we're actually looking at this 50% retracement level here. And so far, as of recording this video, we're currently finding at least some support around this area, which is at least some good news in the short term, because if the price breaks below this area, in that situation, expect to move down towards around 157 to 158 based on this previous low acting as the next support. And below that, expect more support in between around 143 to 146. But at roughly around 170, that is the current support to pay attention to, and also slightly below 170 once again based on this 50% retracement level here. And obviously as resistance, if we see any sort of bounce again, expect a lot of resistance still in between 190 to 200. And of course, in the short term, over the last one day, we finally broke below this important line of support here, and also below all of these lows, which of course in the short term is bearish price structure, continuing a bit of a bearish trend. So yes, it is possible we could see a slight little bounce, especially because we hit oversold in the 8-hour Solana RSI. So obviously it's not going to move in a straight line. Yes, we could see little bounces back towards the upside here and there, but overall, in terms of the larger trend or the momentum in the market, clearly we're looking more bearish than bullish at the moment. Just be aware that, of course, it is normal to see slight little bounces in between from oversold or from certain points of support, etc. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, we're still playing out this massive bearish divergence that I warned about months ago, since almost the all-time highs. You can even check my videos that I posted back at the end of July, entering into early August, warning about this massive bearish divergence, telling everyone about a massive pullback coming over the next few months, and everyone was calling me crazy for saying that we're likely going to see a major pullback over the next few months, over August, September, possibly October. obviously that has been playing out as I warned about months ago. But with that being said, getting straight into the daily XRP price chart, and right now obviously we're continuing the perfect rejection from this resistance in the short term in between around 260 to 270, and we're still testing this area of support in the short term, sitting in between around $2.30 to $2.40. And so for now, that is still the support to pay attention to and the resistance to pay attention to. But if the price of XRP actually breaks below around $2.30 with confirmation, so candle closes below that level and failing to get back above that area, in that situation, the next major target towards the downside, the next major level of support to watch out for, is sitting at just above $2, around $2.05. And overall, we're still in a bit of a sideways price range when we're talking about the shorter term structure, but the larger trend on the daily time frame is still clearly bearish. We're still seeing larger bearish price structure like lower highs, lower lows, for example. It's just in the shorter term over the last few weeks, we have taken a bit of a break from the bearish trend, but possibly still during the trend, kind of like what we saw just here, for example. And if we're taking a quick look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, it's a somewhat similar situation for Chainlink as what I just said for XRP, but if anything, Chainlink's a bit more bearish than XRP. Obviously, we're still within the bearish trend, forming lower highs and lower lows, but unlike XRP, which is still trying to remain in this sideways price range, Chainlink is just simply creating new lower highs and new lower lows, continuing the larger bearish trend. But at least so far, we are still holding this as support, which is an important area of support to watch out for in between around 1520 to 1570. So that is still the support right now. But if we confirm a break below 1520, and especially if we fail to get back above that area, in that situation, the next target towards the downside, the next major level of support I'll be watching is sitting at roughly around $13.30 to $13.40. And it is worth pointing out that there's a possible new bullish divergence also currently forming, but not yet currently confirmed. I want to make that clear, just something to watch out for, but nothing to really act on as of right now. As always, not financial advice. And if we were to see another bounce here, of course, the next major point of resistance I'll be watching is at roughly around $17.40 to $17.50. And remember, you can trade these moves no matter what the price is doing, using short positions if the price is bearish, or long positions if the price is bullish, or a grid bot if the price is kind of range bound, bouncing around sideways, as I've been doing over the last few weeks, easily profiting from this crypto market. And remember, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim the massive bonuses that are only available using those links below this video. And also, if you want to know how you can take these sort of trades to profit no matter what the price is doing, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.